could you do this to me? You betrayed me!
You brought this on yourself.
Unless we're talking bare naked ladies, I'm not really a big fan of the 1 week earlier trope, but I like that this episode tried to do something different than your average Avatar outing. Is it just me though, or do you kind of forget that this was the opening as the episode progresses? Like, I'm not wondering the whole time, wow, how does Katara possibly get to this point? And I think that's what they were going for. Also, did you ever wonder how they threw this net so perfectly? Did they have one of those net guns that this guy had?
Okay, I'm ready for some training.
Blink and you'll miss it. Aang foot scar continuity. It's in there. There it is. Look. Seeing that Aang has basically unlocked seismic sense when he focuses is pretty cool. We haven't really seen Aang do any training at all this season, which actually used to be a big part of what the gang was doing on their downtime. So this leap to seismic sense we haven't seen Aang show off yet, I think helps the viewer realize he's still working, just probably off screen.
Good job, Twinkle Toes. Visualize, then attack.
This is some interesting wording out of Toph. Can she visualize? I know the seismic sense lets her see in a different way, but does she know what she's talking about here? You think Aang saw Roku pull this move on Sozin and he was like, oh man, I gotta remember that one.
Sneak attack!
Wow, you can really tell how much Sokka has grown in all of his training.
They snuck up on me.
Right. And then they kicked your butt.
Sneak attacks don't count.
This is just a silly little moment, but I like that Toph is seemingly going in for a WWE-style elbow drop, remembering her Earth Rumble days, and Katara looks like she's going for some Daniel-san shit.
Everyone guesses wrong because the dealer moves the rock at the last minute. But I can feel it with my earth bending.
This is part of why I don't want to hear about this. Toph needs to feel the vibrations through the ground to see. If she could see this rock on a wooden table, and she could shoot these things out of the sky, we literally have to believe Toph is aware of all earth and rock at all times. She could probably see the fucking moon, for God's sakes. Are earth bending and moon bending the same thing? Is it a different style, Toph?
You there? Want to play a friendly game?
How could I possibly play? I'm blind.
Toph does her own little sleight of hand maneuver here, actually. She draws the eye's attention with a movement over her face, but with her other hand, she grabs the silver piece from Aang. Bet you never noticed that. Wait, hold on. That's the big man from the headband episode. What are you doing here, bro? Alright, I know it's just for the sake of the shot, and it's supposed to be in slow motion, but if you saw anyone do anything close to this maneuver while playing the shell game, you'd definitely call them out, right? I just wrote a whole thing about how Toph actually picked the wrong shell here according to this shot, but she didn't. She picked the right one. I suck at this game. What the hell?
Where did you guys get the money to buy all this stuff?
Probably the same place you get the money to keep buying all these giant fucking cauldrons, Katara. This isn't even the same one from the Painted Lady.
Toph got us money. She scammed one of those guys in town who moves the shells around all sneaky like.
Wait, hold on, Aang. You hate apples. I remember you specifically hating apples.
See you later. I'm just saying, this isn't something we should make a habit of doing.
Katara's right. Scamming people is wrong. They should just steal this stuff straight up, like the waterbending scroll, or their clothes, or the Painted Lady getup I still think she ganked from somewhere. I bet Katara would be just fine if they just stole this stuff, but scamming people? That's way out of line.
Katara, I'll personally make you an Avatar promise that we won't make a habit of doing these scams.
I don't really like that Aang just straight up lies here, just flat out, but then again, the montage is pretty funny. Nice touch that you can see the soles of Toph's feet here because she kicked out the bottoms of her shoes. Sokka's actually using his sword as a mock billy club here, which I never noticed. My brain just kind of assumed he found a club somewhere to use as a prop. There's a small bag of coin added to Sokka's arms with every little note of this song, except note 7 where 2 bags get added for some reason.
I mean, look at us. We're traveling around the world, making easy money, having fun, with no parents to tell us what to do.
And the best thing of all, I've only got 4 toes.
Speaking of that third-eyed freak, I think I've come up with a name for him. What do you think of Sparky Sparky Boom Man? That's good. Hockey, welcome to Team Avatar. My name's Sokka, and I'm your new owner.
Wait, hold on. Is this a poster for the Ember Island players, you think? For their rendition of Love Amongst the Dragons? I like that you can see through this piece of paper or parchment or whatever, like it's really thin, and you can still see the Wadden poster on the other side. That's a strangely nice touch. We get a little Aang Katara training on the side here. Seems like they're doing an exercise that's pretty similar to the thing they did to take down the drill.
A wanted poster! That's so great! Is there a picture of me? Does it look good?
Well, yeah, actually, it does look pretty good.
Here's a little extra so you can get yourself a nice map of the Fire Nation.
How did you close your fist so firmly around 3 of these things?
Sokka, tell me you didn't buy a bird?
Not just a bird, a messenger bird. Now we can send messages all over the world, even to Gran.
I'm pretty sure that's not how homing birds work, right? Like, they can't just go anywhere. I'm pretty sure you can bring them somewhere with you, and then if you let them go, they'll go back to where they nest. They don't just go where you write on the note.
Hockey, Gran, South Pole.
Then again, Hockey seems keenly aware of how much the South Pole would suck, so what do I know? Is it weird that this isn't the only instance of soup bending in the show?
Your stuff was messy, and I was just straightening up, and I happened to stumble across it.
That's a lie. You're lying, Katara.
This is really the only time Toph calls anyone out for lying past Jet. There was old Sweepy that she missed, Aang about the secret river, and Katara when she said Appa was sick. I still kinda give her the benefit of the doubt that she just doesn't care most of the time, but she probably should have brought the old Sweepy one to attention.
Well, you can't, because you're not my mom and you're not their mom.
Well, I mean, sometimes.
I never said I was.
No, but you certainly act like it. You think it's your job to boss everyone around, but it's not.
I feel like this scene gets Katara a lot of undue hate. Does she really boss everyone around all that much? Like in the rest of the show? Not really. She definitely has a maternal and nurturing personality, but it's not like she's nagging everyone's ear off constantly. Toph's obviously fired up right now, but I don't think she makes a very good point. But people still use this mindset to hate on Katara, which is really weird. And I don't know, Katara definitely has a point in this episode. They're in enemy territory now. They've even been infiltrated by an enemy bird, Sokka's worst nightmare. So like drawing unneeded attention does seem kinda dumb. And the entire gang just ignoring her would be pretty frustrating. I stand with Katara, I reckon. Look at Aang's hair too, by the way. It's definitely grown out a lot since he first woke up. Classic Avatar in their hair detail.
Send a note to Katara and say it's from Toph who wants to apologize. Then everyone will be friends again.
I gotta say, Sokka, you continue to impress me with your ideas.
I really love that line. I know I've said this a lot, but I really love when Sokka and Aang just homie up. It's also funny that Sokka and Aang, who are both intelligent people a lot of the time, come together and are just complete idiots. It's very funny. Remember way back in season 1 with the ruby monkey thing? Remember when I said it showed up all the time and I'd point it out, but I only did it once? It's because I lied. I said that to entice you. You've been subscribed for weeks or months based off a falsehood. Alright, but seriously, it does show up here, but it's in the gang's possession. The last time we saw it, it was on Zuko's boat, and Zuko's boat went fucking supernova. So how does the gang have it?
She gets all bossy and involved and in your business.
Yeah, I don't know how you can deal with it.
Actually, in a way, I rely on it.
I really love this scene. I love that Sokka actually takes on the responsibility that Katara filled with him a lot of the time. This is kind of like a parental conversation. You know, when your parents just square up with you, don't talk down to you, but give you some perspective on a situation. Sokka shows a lot of maturity here that he probably has Katara to thank for being a role model.
I'm gonna tell you something crazy. I never told anyone this before. But honestly, I'm not sure I can remember what my mother looked like.
And oh my god, dude, that's heavy. Like, this is a kid's show, and that's a very, very adult concept to bring up. And this comes back to friendships, too. It's really cool that Sokka feels comfortable enough to open up to Toph like this. The character dynamics in the show are so fleshed out and feel real, and everyone just feels so multifaceted. It's a big part of what makes this my favorite show. Sokka's not just a goofball, or a cunning strategist, or a warrior, or a sarcastic guy, or a sentimental teenager, or someone who misses his mom. He's all of those things, and more. Same with Toph, same with Aang, same with Katara. What they did with these characters is really, really special.
Actually, I wasn't going to apologize. I was gonna say I want to pull a scam with you.
I know that Avatar has a lot of anime inspirations, but this might be the most overtly anime thing in the entire show. Just this Aang and Sokka reaction.
The plan is simple. This wanted poster says you're worth a lot of money.
That doesn't look like the same material as the wanted poster from before. I just want to put this statue in perspective. Even if your head of state is cut to fucking pieces, do you think it would be weird to make a giant shirtless statue of them? I do.
Hey, what kind of cell is this?
A wooden one.
I get the idea that they put together Toph as an earthbender, but this is still really, really strange. She hasn't done any metal bending, so why the wooden cage? Combustion Man definitely doesn't know she's a metal bender, and he's the only outside element to this operation. So putting her here seems pretty weird. Also, you just have a wooden cage on standby?
That's her. That's the girl you were looking for.
Here's the Ruby Monkey again. He's just chilling.
I was really mad when you said that because maybe it's true. I try not to think about it, but when I left, I probably really hurt them.
This is a really nice conversation too. I like that Toph, who has this big, strong exterior, can have moments to be vulnerable too. Just like Sokka, she's more than just one thing. One of my favorite things about Combustion Man is the subtle storytelling you get out of him if you just think for a second. Why does he have a metal arm and leg? Well, he can't shoot explosions out of his face, and I'm sure if you have that ability, especially if you got it young, you'd screw up a couple times.
It's Sparky Boom Man!
You know, I'm starting to think that name doesn't quite fit.
It's weird that Sokka gets credit for this joke when all he did was set it up earlier. Aang's the one who gets the laugh here. This is Aang's joke if you ask me.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. I wish we had some earth or water. We need bendables.
What about your meteor bracelet? You could make a saw.
I left it back at camp. I was worried they would take it.
What are these things around your arms made of, Katara? I personally would have thought metal. Sweatbending is pretty cool, another that makes sense moment, but it highlights yet another character trait in Katara. She's not just a mother figure, she's resourceful and clever. A lot of cool character work this episode. It seemed like in an earlier shot, Combustion Man should have done some pretty serious damage to the base of the statue, but in these shots it seems fine. I mean, what if he wasn't strong enough to break this? The gang just left this guy to die horribly.
Katara, I need your help.
What is it, Toph?
I need you to write some things down for me. I want to send a letter to my parents.
There's an idea that Toph doesn't have an arc, or she doesn't evolve or anything, but forget that. Do you think the Toph that joined the group who said she carried her own weight would ever ask Katara for help like this? Ever work as a team like she has? Absolutely not. Toph's arc, if you want to call it that, is about realizing she doesn't have to do it all on her own. That's what her chat with Ira was all about too. And it's a really nice moment here that she not only accepts help, but she asks for help, which is a far cry from where she started.
Hey, where'd Hockey go?
That bird's gone. I really like this episode. It has a good energy behind it. It doesn't have a lot to do with the story, but it gives Toph some time to breathe, which she doesn't really get very often. The comedy is really strong. This is probably one of the jokiest episodes, if you get my meaning. Like, the jokes per minute is through the roof. And a lot of them land really well, from pretty much the entire cast. Awesome character work, too, in this episode, like I mentioned. It's another episode that really lets the characters stretch and see where the dynamics between them go, which is always really interesting and really satisfying. So yeah, I think this one's a pretty good one. Patron shoutouts, if you want to be 2 episodes ahead of the YouTube releases, you can support me on Patreon for just a few bucks. Link, as always, is in the description below the video. The Don't tier lives, Agit Rhino and Garrett Kane. I just want to point out the Don't tier is thus named because doing so would not be advised by any financial guru, but these two don't give a single solitary fuck about that, and that's what makes their names all rainbowy. Of course, shoutouts to my other top patrons, Andrew Edwards, who scares the scary guy in the scary movies, Brahman from the 5th floor, who can make any tub a hot tub, Buddha Jacker, who can escape any room if you give the door enough time to rot away, Caps Lock, who was a visitor from the star known as the Wobbly Goblin, Charlie Rock Quigley, whose nickname in high school was also the Wobbly Goblin, Daniel Ward, who can control other people's dreams, but not his own, Eric Barney, who was born from the fiery birthing pits of Orxatan 7, etc., who gives off just enough cooling energy to refrigerate things just by holding them, Fritz Sullivan, who was just always followed by the song Africa by Toto, just quietly playing in the background, Jared Berkman, master of the cosmic orb, Jess, who put on a one-woman show playing over 20 roles, best rendition of Cats I've ever seen, John, who got himself in Spin the Bottle and he somehow pulled it off without forming a black hole, Keith Clawson, who got that name because he is son of the bear chieftain named Claw, Phantom Lord Daddy, who can phase through matter but only if that matter starts with the letter D, Sean Martin, who was the first one to discover a giraffe, very humble of him to not name them Sean's, The Sinking Bubble, who won the Shadow Puppet World Tour, and You Frickin' Nerd, who has been found guilty of blasphemy in over 40 different religions, and counting. My other fuck you money patrons as well, Bradley Ralph, Donnie Snow, Dylan Calvo, Elder Xananthus, Caitlin, Kennedy Stapleton, Luke Herrera, Mandatory Sin, Max Lewandowski, Mike the Wizard, Nick Kaipanen, Sad Wallet Noises, Skylos, Useless Princess Backwards, Tiago Nascimento, Varunda, and Zoopy. And of course, my god analyzers, Alex Fritz, Ali, QPZM, Austin Gallup, Be My Valentine, Big Thirsty, Bran Muffin, Bingo Dingo, Kanon Corpse, Kevin Yagi, Chase Brignac, Chris Dolmath, Daniel Nudzige, David Carlisle, Derek Cornwell, DJ Jax, Do Mutual Aid, Dr. Uwu, Dominic Saint, Distant, Earth 2 John, Eleanor Rose, Epic Oomba, Eric Ross, Xmeyer, Ginny from the Block, Glintlock, Gub Gub, Homie Juan Kenobi, Hype King, Ids Carton, Jay Lambo, Jeremy Rubenstein, Jimbo, John Ajaka, Jop Moreland, Joshua Bone, Joshua Haskett, Juice Pouch Grape, Justin Scott, Kdax, Keon Gilliland, Laney Serena, Lehman Russ, Lord Draken, 7367, Mr. Airborne, Mitchell Gobrecht, Mortius 007, Nicholas Abbott, Omar, Parker Marlacker, Peyton Mims, Peter Bayron, Radiator Rat, Rocket Mist, Shadow Fox Nero, Steinwan, Pseudo Hugo Burger, Super Snipper, Tiny Knight, Tom Hanks, Travis Chestnut, Triad Juice, Whale Shred, and Wolfman Dan. Next up is the Puppet Master. Oh.